A Greek taxi driver just hit 1.4 kilometers in his Mercedes. Still original engine, still original transmission. Meanwhile, a BMW owner in Munich just scrapped his car at 82,000 kilometers. Repair bill exceeded the car's value. The gap between cars that last forever and cars that die young has never been bigger. Today, I'm revealing 5 cars that routinely survive 1 million kilometers of abuse, and the 5 that barely limp past 100,000. One of these million-kilometre heroes costs less than 25,000 euros brand new. One of the early failures costs over 80,000 euros. If you're buying a car expecting it to last, what you're about to hear will completely change your perspective. The automotive world is split into 2 extremes. On one side, we have cars engineered to run virtually forever. Simple, overbuilt, understressed. And on the other, we have complex, highly strung machines that start falling apart the moment the warranty expires. This isn't opinion, it's documented fact. TÜV Germany's Vehicle Inspection Authority tracks failure rates across millions of vehicles. DEKRA publishes reliability data from across Europe. Fleet operators from Athens to Amsterdam keep meticulous records. The patterns are undeniable. Certain cars are built to survive, others are built to sell. What separates them? It's not price. Some cheap cars outlast expensive ones by decades. It's not country of origin. Every nation builds winners and losers. It's about engineering philosophy. And today, you'll understand exactly what makes the difference. If you want to buy cars that last rather than cars that merely look good in showrooms, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're revealing the automotive truth that manufacturers don't advertise. And yes, we're now using the hype feature to share exclusive long-term ownership reports from real owners. Starting our survivors at number 5 is the Toyota Land Cruiser, specifically the 100 and 200 series models. These aren't just tough, they're virtually indestructible. UN peacekeeping forces, African mining companies, and Australian farmers have pushed these beyond 1 million kilometers routinely. The secret? Toyota engineers designed them for a 25-year service life in the harshest conditions on Earth. The engines are legendarily understressed. The 4.2-litre turbo diesel in the 100 series produces 204 horsepower, deliberately conservative for its displacement. The later 4.5-litre V8 diesel in the 200 series pushes out around 235 horsepower from 4,500cc. Less stress equals longer life. Oil capacity? A massive 9 litres, keeping everything cool and lubricated. The transmission? A bulletproof automatic with its own massive cooler. In Morocco, one tour operator showed us 3 Land Cruisers, each with over 1.2 million kilometers. We change oil, filters and belts, he said. Nothing else. They refuse to die. The downsides? Fuel consumption around 12 to 14 litres per 100 kilometers. But as owners say, it drinks fuel, but it drinks it forever. Our first failure is the Range Rover Evoke, a car that promised Land Rover capability in a stylish package but delivered mechanical misery instead. The Evoke's problems typically start around 60,000 kilometers. The 2-litre Ingenium engines suffer from timing chain failures that can destroy the entire engine. Cost to replace? Often 8,000 to 10,000 euros. The 9-speed automatic transmission, supplied by ZF but poorly integrated, fails regularly. Mechatronic unit failures are common by 80,000 kilometers. But the real killer is electrical complexity. One Frankfurt owner documented 23 separate electrical faults before hitting 100,000 kilometers. Infotainment freezes, parking sensors fail, power tailgates stop working. Each fault costs hundreds or thousands to fix. Which magazine's reliability survey ranked the Evoke in the bottom 10% of all SUVs? Average annual repair costs after warranty? Over 3,000 euros. Many owners simply give up before reaching 100,000 kilometers. At number 4, we have the Mercedes-Benz W123 and W124 models, the last of the over-engineered Mercedes. Built between 1976 and 1985 for the W123 and 1984 to 1995 for the W124. These cars were engineered when Mercedes had a simple philosophy: the best or nothing. And they meant it. Every component was overbuilt by at least 30%. Door hinges designed for 500,000 cycles. Seat frames that could support 200 kilos without flexing. The diesel engines, particularly the OM615, OM616, and OM617, are legendary. Athens has taxis with over 2 million kilometers on original engines. The secret? Mechanical injection. No electronics to fail. Massive bearing surfaces. Oil capacity that seems excessive until you realize it keeps everything cool forever. Hamburg taxi driver Helmut Schroeder still drives his 1985 240D daily. 1.6 million kilometers. Original engine, original gearbox. I've replaced clutches, brakes, suspension bushings, but the core? Immortal. Even today, you can buy a high-mileage W124 and confidently drive it another 500,000 kilometers with basic maintenance. The BMW X6 represents everything wrong with modern automotive complexity. A car so complicated that reaching 100,000 kilometers without major repairs is considered lucky. The problems are systemic. The N63 V8 engine is notorious for consuming oil, timing chain failures, and injector problems. BMW actually extended warranties because failures were so common, but that only helps first owners. Second owners face €10,000 plus repair bills regularly. The complexity is mind-boggling. Electronic everything, steering, suspension, differentials. When one system fails, it cascades. One Munich owner showed us his receipts. €42,000 in repairs between 60,000 and 95,000 kilometers. The car's value? €35,000. It's not designed to last, explained the BMW master technician. It's designed to amaze for 3 years, then become someone else's problem. Number 3 belongs to Volvo's brick-shaped legends, the 240, 740, and 940 series. These Swedish tanks were built when Volvo's mission was simple. Nobody dies in a Volvo, and the car outlives its owner. They succeeded on both counts. The red block engines, B230F particularly, are nearly indestructible. Forged internals, gear-driven camshafts, massive cooling systems. The philosophy was beautifully simple. Manual everything possible. What had to be powered was overbuilt. Power steering pumps that could run dry without damage, alternators producing twice the needed output, wiring with insulation thick enough for industrial use. While the engines used timing belts rather than chains, Volvo specified interference-free designs. If the belt broke, valves wouldn't hit pistons. In Finland, there's a 1983 Volvo 245 with 1.8 million kilometers used for timber hauling. Original engine, original gearbox. It won't die, the owner laughs. I tried to kill it through neglect. It refuses. The galvanized bodies resist rust better than modern cars. The interiors, while basic, use materials that last decades. Finding one with under 500,000 kilometers is actually difficult. They just keep going. The Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio promised to challenge German dominance with Italian passion. Instead, it became infamous for barely surviving warranty periods. The 2.9-litre twin-turbo V6 is a technical masterpiece when it works, but sensors fail constantly. The engine management system is so sensitive that minor faults trigger limp mode. Owners report being stranded regularly. The carbon fiber driveshaft, while impressive, has been known to fail catastrophically. Electronics are the real disaster. Infotainment systems break themselves, requiring complete replacement. Driver assistance systems malfunction. Warning lights illuminate like Christmas decorations. One owner documented 47 days in the shop during his first year of ownership. Italian passion meets Italian reliability, which ranked Alfa Romeo dead last among all manufacturers for reliability. JD Power's studies show similar results. Most quadrifoglios will never see 100,000 kilometers. Their owners give up long before. Our runner-up survivor is the legendary Toyota Hilux, the truck that literally cannot be killed. Top Gear tried to destroy one, drowned it in the ocean, set it on fire, dropped it from a demolition site. It still ran. That wasn't television magic. That's normal Hilux behavior. In Africa, the Middle East, and Australia, million-kilometre Hiluxes are common. 2 million isn't unheard of. The formula is simple. Understressed engines, massive cooling systems, everything overbuilt. The 2.8-litre diesel produces just 177 horsepower, deliberately conservative. The manual gearbox uses a clutch designed for twice the torque. The chassis is rated for loads that would break most trucks. A South African farmer showed us his 1998 Hilux, 2.3 million kilometers. Same engine, same gearbox. I've replaced everything else twice, but the heart keeps beating. Toyota designs the Hilux for markets where breakdown means death, literal death in some cases. That philosophy creates immortal vehicles. The Discovery Sport promised to be Land Rover's reliable family SUV. Instead, it became arguably the least reliable SUV sold in Europe. Problems start early and never stop. The Ingenium engines suffer from catastrophic failures, timing chains, crank bearings, complete seizures. The 9-speed automatic transmission fails regularly, but those are just the beginning. Electrical nightmares define ownership. Water ingress kills control modules. Software glitches cause random failures. The emergency brake engages while driving. Doors refuse to open. Engines cut out without warning. One British owner's experience is typical. Purchased new, by 72,000 kilometers had experienced engine failure, €85,000. Transmission failure, €5,200. And differential failure, €3,800. And countless electrical faults. Total repair bills exceeded the car's value. What Car Magazine's survey showed approximately 30% of Discovery Sport suffer major faults within 3 years, among the worst in class. Reaching 100,000 kilometers without catastrophic failure is becoming increasingly rare. The crown for longevity goes to the Mercedes-Benz 190e W201, the most over-engineered car ever sold to the public. Mercedes invested heavily in developing the 190e, one of the most extensive development programs in automotive history at that time. They tested prototypes for millions of kilometers. They crash-tested numerous cars. They over-engineered everything to a degree that would be considered excessive today. The result? Immortality. The M102 and M103 engines are essentially industrial units that happen to power cars. The manual transmissions are agricultural in their robustness. The automatics, while slower, are equally indestructible. In Morocco, Mercedes 190e taxis with over 2 million kilometers are common, not rebuilt, original engines. The secret? Everything was designed with 300,000 kilometers as the minimum target. Double-walled exhaust systems, suspension bushings that last decades, wiring that could power houses. Modern Mercedes are better cars, admits a Stuttgart mechanic, but the W201 was built to outlive civilization itself. The biggest failure for longevity is the BMW i3. Not because it's electric, but because BMW engineered planned obsolescence into every component. The problems are fundamental. The carbon fiber body can't be repaired conventionally. Minor accidents total the car. The range extender engine, when fitted, fails frequently due to lack of use. But the killer is BMW's approach to components. The high-voltage battery isn't just expensive to replace, between 10 to 15,000 euros plus. BMW's approach makes independent shop repairs extremely difficult. Software restrictions and proprietary tools prevent many component replacements. When modules fail, BMW often insists on complete unit replacement at high costs. Multiple i3 owners have reported cars becoming economically unrepairable at under 80,000 kilometers. Not because they can't be fixed, but because BMW's monopolistic repair approach makes fixing them financial suicide. It's a disposable car with a premium price, explains one frustrated former owner. BMW built it to be scrapped, not repaired. What separates the immortals from the disposables? Simplicity. Every additional system is a potential failure point. The million-kilometre cars keep it simple. Conservative engineering. Engines producing 40 horsepower per litre last forever. Engines producing 120 horsepower per litre don't. Overbuilding. When Toyota designs for 300% safety margin, things last. When manufacturers design for exactly enough, things break. Repairability. Cars that can be fixed with normal tools by normal mechanics survive. Cars requiring proprietary software and special tools don't. Philosophy. Companies building for reputation create immortal cars. Companies building for quarterly profits create disposable ones. If you want a car to last 1 million kilometers, here's your blueprint. Buy proven survivors. Toyota Land Cruiser, Hilux, older Mercedes diesels, Volvo 240, 790, 940. Boring? Maybe. Eternal? Definitely. Avoid complexity. Turbocharging, mild hybrids, air suspension, electronic everything. Each reduces longevity. Choose understressed engines, large displacement, low specific output. A 3-litre making 150 horsepower will outlast a 1-litre making 150 horsepower by decades. Prioritize maintenance access. Can local mechanics service it? Are parts available? Software-locked cars die young. Think total cost. A 40,000 euro Land Cruiser lasting 20 years costs 2,000 euros per year. A 40,000 euro Range Rover lasting 5 years costs 8,000 euros per year plus repairs. The gap between cars that last and cars that don't has never been wider. On one side, we have vehicles engineered for eternity, simple, robust, repairable. On the other, we have rolling computers designed to impress briefly then expire extensively. The million-kilometre cars prove longevity is possible. Manufacturers simply choose not to provide it. They'd rather sell you 3 cars than one that lasts forever. But armed with this knowledge, you can choose differently. The choice is yours. Buy for the showroom or buy for the odometer. Because in the end, the most expensive car isn't the one that costs the most, it's the one that dies young. Which of these surprised you the most? Do you own a million-kilometre hero or a 100,000-kilometre failure? Share your experiences below, and if this opened your eyes to automotive longevity truth, hit that subscribe button for more unfiltered automotive reality.